Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, to review your resumes and get you ahead of your job search. The resume we have up first is a software engineer. What kind? I don't know. They did not tell me. Which you need to tell me. This goes for everybody. This goes for everybody if you send me your resumes. Not just tech, HR, I don't know, every other type of role. Be specific in your job title. If you tell me, well, I kind of want anything, I can't help you. This is not a job title. All right, software engineer, you would need to break it down into one of these 5, which is why this resume already fails. I did a meter read of it. It was very much a yeet. But everybody else also needs to do this. If you just say, I want customer service, okay, that can count for a lot of different customer service jobs. But the difference between a product manager, a project manager, and a program manager is massive. The difference between a data scientist and a data analyst is different. So you've got to be very specific. You cannot just give me broad information. The more specific you give me, the better. If you submit your resume and you type out 18 paragraphs, guess what? I would prefer that over one. So please do, because in this case, this person has a terrible ratio. It's like 150 plus. So basically they're getting no interviews. We're talking like it takes them over 150 applications to get a single interview. This is their redone resume and it is pretty garbage. So the first problem here is this doesn't work. You don't need an objective. Doesn't matter. You also don't need a skills section. Skills sections are worthless. The reason for that being, unless I can see the qualification in your bullet points under a internship, project, or work experience, it doesn't count. So that doesn't count. And I don't need this under here, and I don't need this. You also want your resume to look like this. So it fails on a formatting count and a content count. And then when you get to the actual content, this is not really what I'd be looking for. The problem here is this was so unfocused. So React is good, and I would like APIs, but I don't know what else you used. Because remember, this doesn't count. You cannot just put it environment. You have to say used JavaScript, Node, Express, PostSQL to X, Y, and Z. You have to show me how you use it and the reason and results of you using it. If you do not do that, it does not count. It might as well not exist in your resume. So you can never just say, I multitasked. You have to show me how you multitasked and the reason you multitasked or the result of multitasking. And in this case, this person tells me nothing. Collaboratively to build a full stack using, Angular, a good Java, Spring Boot, SQL. But again, this is not what I'd be looking for full stack. This is what I'd be looking for backend Python. So this resume is so crazy. I don't know what's here. Increased proper course enrollment by 20%. What am I looking at? So there's nothing there. Military experience they would like. They like vets. Vets are good. No one's going to scroll this far down to even see this. So, yeah, your problem is you show me nothing, right? Like, you can't this piece of paper is blank to a recruiter practically. All I see is React, and API, and Java, and Spring Boot, and Angular. The problem is I don't see anything else, and that's not enough to move you ahead in any of those. So as an example, and if you need in the comments below, I can put these out, but if you wanted to be a Java developer, I would need, and I'm going to pull this out in a second. Where did my Java go? Please come back. Please come back, computer. I am doing this live. Please come back. There. So in the US at least, I would need this. And if you notice, for a back-end Java engineer, I can't find that. If I was looking for a full stack, I would want this. Those are different qualifications. You can pause the video, go back and forth, that's fine. Those are different. That goes for everybody. Jobs hire based on very, very, very specific qualifications for that job title that are commonly accepted for that job title. This is the most common amount of qualifications you will find in a full stack position. This is the most common amount of qualifications you will find in a back-end Java position. You don't even need all of those. You just need about 75%. I found maybe 20% of each, and I do not have enough. So remember, this section right down here doesn't count. This section doesn't count. This doesn't count. You have to show me how you used it and the reason and result of you using it, or else it does not exist on your resume. I cannot move you forward. If I showed this to a hiring manager, they would laugh at me and then reject you and possibly fire me. So please show me how you did stuff. You have to show me how you did stuff and the reason and result. You can never just list it like that. That is what we actually want. Every single person tries, oh, I'm going to do 1,000 different tricks. Like, please, just do this. Just do this. Make it like this. This is it. This is all we need it to look like. Also, my dog was making real grumbly noises, but he's fine. So this is what we want it to look like. So that's all I can do for this resume. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Help me out. It does help me out. If you have any questions, ask them below. I'd be happy to answer them. And, you know, you can join me on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. till, whenever I stop streaming, depends on the day, at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. That's where I get these qualifications. That's where I can help out a little bit more. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a front-end developer. I think they just stated web developer, which usually implies front-end. So I'm going to assume this is a front-end web developer position, in which case what I'd be looking for in the US at least. I'd have to search other countries to see what they are. And if I do not speak the language of that other country, it's very difficult for me to get enough qualifications from it. So these are based on the US. JavaScript, React, AngularJS, HTML, CSS, and PHP. SQL, Scrum, Agile, RESTful APIs, SEO, Git, Docker, Jira, Vue, Next, and a bonus for extra language cloud, UI UX, SASS, TypeScript, and WordPress. This person also docs themselves, so I cannot scroll past this page. So this is the only thing I'm able to actually see about their resume. So let's start the clock to see if I can find what I can find in 20 seconds. And go. Okay, don't care. Refractored, React, good. CSS, actually good. UI, good. React, Next.js, Tailwind CS, pretty solid. React, SAS, CSS. Man, I would possibly be, this is like in between. I actually found a good chunk of what I needed. I would need JavaScript. You do, but you put it here. This would be tentative based on the role. Depending on how many candidates I got, if I could move you forward or not. I think this would be worth a phone screen to see if you had the required skills. So this resume is not as terrible as I had assumed it was at first. Basically, the big problem, though, is they don't say JavaScript. They only say it down here, which I don't even think people can see because it's past the project section, where it says pure HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, but it doesn't really count there. I need to see it on here. So I don't think this is terrible, and the format, while not something I like, is also not the worst. They said they are a 50-to-1 ratio, which I don't know if that's true or not, because they didn't leave me any notes. But this is not a terrible resume. It can definitely be improved by, well, just adding a little bit more JavaScript, because I was missing JavaScript. I think I was missing SQL. I was missing RESTful APIs, and I think I found everything else besides that, and maybe PHP. So yeah, no, this would probably be maybe a yeet then, because like it's really on the line for it. It really depends on how many applicants I've gotten through, how many I have left, and how many have already met the requirements. But this is like on the edge of both of those. So we need, this should just say like, used JavaScript, Angular, used JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Angular to optimize our legacy code base. That should be your first sentence. Like, if you are a front-end dev, you absolutely need to have JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and React in, like, your first sentence. And you do have it for React, but not the rest of it. So, it just needs a little bit of cleanup. It's a little clunky. It's a little harder to find some of the words I would like. And, like, I would say that this would probably pass when the market was good, because this has most of what we'd be looking for. But you're also focused so heavily on like clean and pure, and it's really weird because the title of this is clean and professional resume, which is, again, I don't judge people based on the title of their resume as long as it's work appropriate. So as long as you don't curse people out, you can title your resume blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't really care. It's not really a big deal, but they're just so focused a little bit more on the metrics than I would like here, and a little bit less on the actual qualifications of what I'm looking for. So not great, but not terrible. Perfectly middle of the road. This would be on the edge of passing or failing, but you just need to add a little bit more and you'll make it pass, and then fix the formatting to make it like this, and then you should be good. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a project manager. I think this person has been unemployed since April. They are finishing up their bachelor's, and that's kind of all the information I have that would be relevant for y'all. There's a couple of other stuff on the back end. So the thing is, they have a 1 in 50, and I don't think a 1 in 50 is terrible, assuming this is accurate, which it may or may not be, but a 1 in 50 is not the worst. Like, a 1 in 50 ratio is essentially like a C-, in that, yes, you could do better, but you still pass. Like, you could get a job in this market with a 1 in 50 resume. So what we're looking for in a project manager or project management is not kind of all this stuff. A lot of this stuff is really just to say, I need the details about what you did. I'm talking like the number of people, the industry, were there any technical stuff? So in this case, like SaaS, or maybe if it was IT, like cloud, AWS, that kind of stuff. If it's not IT, then healthcare, like was it with nurses? So I need the details, along with, did you have any people as direct reports or dotted line reports? Project managers can kind of sometimes be in between managers and actual project managers, and they may or may not have direct reports. It can be kind of confusing. So a lot of this is just that. Any PMP or CSM cert is massive. Customers and stakeholders, I need to see that you've done stuff with them. Agile, and then do basically everything I already said. How you used your resources for success, because again, a lot of the times as a project manager is you have the reverse of the Spider-Man problem. It's not like with great, wow, did I really forget Spider-Man's slogan? With great responsibility comes something. Oh, wow. I like Spider-Man. I can't believe I forgot that. But basically, you have a lot of responsibility, but no actual power. That was it. So with great power comes great responsibility, but as a project manager, it's with great responsibility comes very little actual power. So you have to show us how you used what little power you had to make changes internally or externally or whatever you're supposed to do, along with Jira, Confluence, and MS Project. So that's basically, to sum it up, is the nuts and bolts about what you did, how you influence change, and then, you know, like your success and how you did it specifically. So, trilingual. Ooh, this is good. Honestly, this alone might be why your ratio is so good, is that they always love more people. So people with multiple languages, it's massive. It is a nightmare to search for people with multiple languages. So I don't like a summary sentence. I do like that you have this. If anything, I would put it like right here, where the location would go. So you should definitely put your location. Oh, you're doing remote roles? Okay, you don't necessarily. Well, you should still, even for remote roles, put your location, because it can matter for some people. Like they want to, if you're, sometimes they can only work with people in certain states, even if it's remote and that kind of stuff. So I would still recommend putting your location in. And so it's going to look like this. And then under here, you could just put trilingual in X, Y, Z, and a X citizen in X. So that's what I would do. The rest of this, though, is kind of junk. So I don't need this. Remember, it needs to be here. If you have stuff here, it just flat out doesn't count. Like, flat out. So I like that you have the trilingual. I don't like the rest of this. So, project manager for X project, the only initiative in country that provides X assistance for the Y. Okay, so this might be a very good sentence. This might be a terrible sentence. I don't know, because you did not put this stuff in, and that's okay. I don't want you to dox yourself. So I can't I'm telling you right now, I cannot judge this sentence because I don't have enough details about it, but I think this is close to how you would want to write it, at least. I do like that, especially if it's a niche industry. So, develop marketing client-facing materials in multiple languages, outreach strategy. So, I like this part, but the problem is, why did you do that? And again, this is kind of hard for me to understand because I don't know the industry you're in. It could be you are a marketer, and in which case that would be a high thing that we would want. But develop marketing documents for client facing. It's good about the client facing, but like, why was that important to raise awareness? Like, I don't understand why it was important to raise awareness with your partners and your organization and clients. Like, getting stuff done, yeah, but raising awareness, like if I go outside and I say, hey, I'm the headless headhunter, I raised awareness of myself, but it's not really applicable to the business. Also, people will look at you like you're absolutely crazy. But monitor the progress of cases, identifying merge issue outcomes through established indicators. Again, I think this is okay. They would like this if this is, I guess, law-based. I'm not sure what you're doing. Updated decision maker strategic planning. So this one is good. You showed how. And in fact, I think this is a bit of a trend with this resume is you show how, which is good, but you don't really show me the reason or result. I'm not sure you're even showing the qualification itself. It really might depend on your industry, but you are not showing me the reason you did that. Like, I think this is a good sentence, strategic planning, but why did you do this? What was the reason? Why was this a duty that was important for you? Same thing with this. Why is this important to, again, increase awareness? I don't understand why that is important. And again, maybe this would clear it up, but I don't know. I'm assuming since you have 1 in 50 that you're trilingual, and this is an absolutely solid bullet point, and the rest of this is kind of junk. Enhancing volunteer experience and feedback while optimizing program delivery. This is a nonsense sentence. So manage international volunteer recruitment intention is good. But again, why did you do that? I think maybe your nonprofit, which is a bit of a niche, and this would probably, I used to work nonprofit as well. But yeah, I don't know what to do with this because I don't know what you are. And I think that's a theme of this. So unless this is blindingly obvious, which it might be, your problem is I don't know why this is important. I don't know why you're telling me this, because when I'm looking for a project manager, I am looking for the details about how you did stuff, but I'm also looking for why you did it. I'm looking about how you made things happen, and I don't really see that. I'm looking for the number of projects and the budgets. How did you use the resource for your success? So unless it's all here and your trilingual is carrying your resume, which it might, because if you list a multi or bilingual, half the rest of your resume doesn't matter because they will move you forward to double check because it's that important. But I don't really understand why you did what you did and why it was important. And that's all I can really do on this one. So let me know in the comments because I'd like to know a little bit more. Like I'm guessing this is some kind of international charity, in which case, again, having worked a little bit in this, although admittedly that was a while ago and I was like an admin, I was like a administrative assistant, executive assistant. I'm not sure how this is related for hiring for a project manager for a nonprofit, assuming that's what you are. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a head of product. So they have applied to close to 1,200 to 1,400 jobs. And they've only gotten about 15 interviews from all of those, which is divided by 15. I am not a math person. 80. So that's a 1 in 80 ratio, which is actually not great. But I don't think it's as bad as this person thinks. It's definitely bad, but they put a 1 in 50. But if that's actually, you've only gotten 15 interviews from 120 to 140 low end, that's about 1 in 80 ratio. So it's not great, but let's see what we can do to improve it. So if you're looking for a director level, CTO, anything really, 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 really high up, which this person is, it kind of always breaks down into these categories. it's kind of interesting because my format works okay for this type of level, but I'm making another format that should work better for director level roles and heavy people that are heavy on contractors. So you can use this, and hopefully in a week or two, maybe when this airs, I'll have the actual format ready for director level, but you're always going to be looking for these things, right? The industry, just flat out, this is going to depend on the industry. If you're in medical, if you're in tech, if you're in real estate industry, they're going to want some industry knowledge. They're going to want to know the company size, your budget, the number of people that were directly under you. These are really, really big, because like there's a, like if you worked for a 10-person company that made $12 a year, that's a bit different than if you're working at like Google as a VP of sales, where there's, 700 people under you and your budget's $1 billion, jillion, fazillion dollars. So company size, budget, and number of people under you are needed information that we would like to know. Stakeholders and customer management, basically how you affected change, and that goes to internal and external. This is, again, these are very broad topics, but that's because most of the time they're looking for broad, like higher level kind of thing, and I don't really like saying that too much, but like bird's eye view of what you did, specifically for like heads, directors, that kind of stuff. So stakeholder customer management and both internal and external change. How did you create change? What did you do? Because they're not hiring you to keep the company the same. If they did, then probably the person wouldn't have left, or they wouldn't have needed somebody new. And then this, which should probably be in its own bullet point, is growth and scaling. They want to know that you grew stuff, and this includes stuff like P&L, which I should have put in. P&L is huge. If you can put anything with P&L, which is profit and loss, that is major. They want to know that. So how you grew the company, how you affected change within the company, and then the details about what you did, specifically on like the number of employees. Those are what we're going to be looking for. So I'm expecting to see some of that here. So formatting is okay. Again, this format that I have works great, but not as well for directors. So I'm not actually going to, but this is at least legible and I can read it. So built the product from the ground up, which helps scale the company from 2.5 to 25 million AARR. That's actually really good. Owned product vision, hiring alignment. This is okay. So this is where the formatting breaks. Even if you don't use this format exactly for a director level, it still needs to look like this, right? You still need your job thing on one line, and then under it, it should be a bullet point. This needs to be in a bullet point, and this needs to either be 2 separate bullet points or 1 separate bullet point without 2 periods. Every single bullet point needs to be 1 sentence. Define company-wide product strategy and positioning, directly label deals with. So the problem is enabled. This is a little too broad, right? Like define company-wide product strategy and positioning is okay, and enabling deals with L'Oreal and H&M is good, but like, why did you do that? Why was that important? Again, I'm looking for this stuff. How did you change stuff internally to let them do that so that you could do that, and what was the reason for it? Did this involve any growth and scaling? I don't know. Let's see. Design and scaled internal. This is a good one. Tooling to automate contracting and delivery reports. Efforts by 6. See, this is the part where it's a little odd, which is cutting manual efforts by 60%, increasing revenue per employee, and improving compliance by decreasing errors. I want to know the actual thing that this did, right? Like, I don't mean like manual effort by 60%. So normally I'm not a fan of a lot of percentages and numbers, but as a director level, you should have those. How did this affect the company's bottom line? Why was this important? Because I don't know how important this was. Yes, cutting manual effort is nice, but did you cut it? Was it just 2 minutes a month that they used to spend on that, and you brought it down to whatever 60% of that is? Or was it took every single employee you saved 40 hours a week, right? We don't know. And again, increasing revenue per employee, by how much? How much was that related? What are the stats on that? This is where you actually need to put stuff. And then how did you scale those tools? So scaling is good. The general idea is good. It's too broad. Hired and mentored and managed the full production team. Good. 3 PMs in engineering, 6 devs and design. This part is good, but like, what did you do with them? Because remember, as the head of product, you're not building the stuff. You are affecting change within the company by having these people do it for you. That's kind of the job. So what did they do? What did you do by scaling them and mentoring them for that? Because you don't tell me. You just said introduce performance frameworks and role definitions. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for hired, mentored, and managed our production team, 3 PMs, engineering, 6 devs. In this case, you can say cross-functional or matrix production team of 3 PMs and 6 engineering devs. Where I let them do X and Y under my leadership. Like, why did you scale them? Did you scale up these 9 people so that they could fix the coffee maker? I don't know. You did not tell me. Okay, based on managerial workflows and stakeholder reporting. This is a okay one. Again, I think you could probably do a little bit better, but I don't think this is a bad one down here. Used AI to improve discovery specs. Again, why do I care about this? Built SQL to monitor product impact, churn, and engagement. Again, I don't know if I care about that. Your job is to affect change within the company or internal and external change via stakeholders, both internal, which is in this case like other managers, other VPs, other C-suites, and external, which is the customers. I don't know how you did that. In fact, I don't know what you do. I still don't know what you do. I read this whole thing and I'm not really sure what you did. I don't know how you did it and you didn't describe it to me. And that is probably your biggest issue immediately, is you're just so vague about what you did. I need the specifics. So again, you can break it down into change. You can break it down into the industry specifically and then, scaling and growth. But this is too broad. So especially, I don't know what you did. I really don't, and I still read it. So that's why you're having some issues. And again, I think the core of this is an okay resume. It's just you really need to add stuff. It's just too vague. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume. Of course, it's a resume. That's all I do. This person is a software engineer intern. They are upcoming undergrad, and they don't have a ton of technical experience yet, which is understandable. This is where you get it. This is where you learn how to do it. They'd love feedback on whether the variety of experiences and projects is helpful or overwhelming, and if the bullet points strike the right balance between technical detail and clarity, along with the formatting and whether you need a skill section. No, nobody needs a skill section. Stop putting skill sections in your resume. I will stand on that hill. They are generally bad for almost everyone. I'm not sure of a person that actually needs a skill section that would make their resume better. I'm legitimately trying to think of somebody, and I am having trouble thinking of it. Maybe high-level technical directors. Maybe. And I'm very iffy on that. So, no skill section. Let's see. Are certificates worth including at this stage? That is actually a very good question that I'm not sure. I think it would be good because it shows you're interested. So I think it could be okay, but it's really going to depend on a company-to-company basis on if they want somebody. Mainly because I don't think a lot of people have certs at your stage. So, but that is actually a very good question I haven't really been asked. And should I continue list awards and relevant high school coursework? No, that's okay, especially if you're incoming and you're applying. You got to list what you've got. So, let's check out what we're looking for in a software engineer intern. Is your degree, which is just, you're still getting it. Basic knowledge of your tech stack. So in this case, it's going to be language library, SQL, cloud, that kind of stuff. Like if you've got front end, then it's going to be JavaScript, HTML, CSS. If it's Java, it's Java. If it's Python, it's Python, and maybe a couple of libraries. Don't go. Every intern makes a mistake of trying to include 1,000 different things. And then importantly, the ability to work well with others, and you take direction and criticism. So your formatting is slightly off here. This should be, well, I think you can see where the problem is from this one. This should be in the bullet point, and I think you just messed up. That's okay. In addition, nothing here should be bolded. And actually, I think I noticed something that I could have missed. Okay, I actually don't see it. There it is. Oh, okay, no. I thought you were fluent in another language. So yeah, this should be one line. This should be one line. And then this should be not be bolded. This should be one line, not bolded. Although in this case, yeah. So this I think you can keep. I actually think this is pretty good to keep. This you can delete. And then you should have another bullet point that shows this, because I think they actually may want to see that. So essentially you're going to move this down to 3 to 4 bullet points max. And in this case, I'd try to go for 3 bullet points total. So 1 for your BS, 1... You know, okay, so here's what you got to do. So this is 1 bullet point. This and this can be 2 bullet points total, because it's assumed that you've gotten high school. So that's where we're going to go with that. I know that's going to look a little bit weirder, but you have some good work and I wanted to include it. So developed a Python, I think there's supposed to be an A here, Python based algorithm good to identify the routing using Amadeus AP. Okay, that's solid. I like this. Maybe if you had like Docker, or what is the other one for Docker? Django, you could add that, but otherwise I think that's okay. Architected backend logic in Python for per mile flight and RESTful API SQL. Okay, so these are the same. I know they're not, but they're the same. I would get rid of this one and keep this one because it has everything I need. So this should be your first bullet point. This should be deleted. Design a prototype, fair written. I don't think there's anything here that I need. GitHub you haven't mentioned. No, you already did put the money. So this is okay to have. So yeah, it should just be like this one and this one. Again, I would like to know how you worked well with others, though. This is a key thing. Raise 2002. Okay, this is not bad actually. Normally I'd be against founder, but secure to deliver under seniors. So my problem with this is it still doesn't show you how you can work well with others. I actually do like this, but some of this stuff isn't super needed. This could be if you're applying for like front end roles, but yeah, so I'm a little hesitant to include all this because I think it is impressive. The problem is it's just not always what they're looking for. Maybe you've done a lot. Look, I think you're going to go far. You have achieved so much in this resume already before your first real year of college. And I'm like, wow. So you've done a lot. I want you to be proud of that, but I want you to be focused on where you put it. You may need a separate section of just like awards and charity work on your resume, which you can have after your projects. That's fine. And if you want to move all of the awards and charity work down there, that's okay. But this, I think you can safely move down to that section or delete. Led 8 workshops teaching seniors digital literacy. This is okay. Again, my problem here is I'm not looking for how you led. I'm looking for how you were led. There is a very big difference. When you're an intern, they're not asking you to lead these team of 20 people and teach them how to code Python. They're going to give you the equivalent of a stack of papers and say code. Obviously, you don't code from papers, but you know, you're going to have the very basic stuff. So I like what you've done here, but you're kind of, I don't want to say overqualified, but you're kind of like over explaining what you've done, and that's not right either. You have an impressive background. It's just not the right impressive that they're looking for. So it's kind of like bragging, and it's just we're not super looking for. So it's okay to say this, but like I need to know how you were led, because if you did all this stuff and then your very first day you started coding and it was completely awful, and they say, hey, you know, Bob, I have no idea what your real name is, Bob, your code was terrible. Here's how to fix it. We'll meet you again in a week. They're going to tell you that, and you have to, they want to make sure that you're not going to flip the table and run away. So that is what I need. I mean, there's some crazy stuff here. If anything, you've done too much stuff. This is insane. Yeah, this is good, but again, I want, and you know what? I think this is your big problem is any one of these would be good. The problem is you have all of them, and they're all kind of saying the same thing. They're saying you have taken time out of your week, which is good, to overperform, which again is good, and help others, which is good. But they're all the same thing. So I would pick one of these, maybe two max, to keep. And then the rest you could put either into another section. But then this, as a groceries associate, see, the problem is you only work there for like 2-3 months. That's a bit of a red flag. Yeah, that part is a little bit. So these are actually really good bullet points that I would like worked 8-hour shifts providing in-store customer service and inventory restocking. The problem is it's rendered moot because of your time doing it. So unless this was, no, that's not. Collaborative managers, workflow. Again, this would be good. The problem is you've only been there for like 2 to 3 months before you stopped. So pick like one of these. And if I had to pick anything, I would say it's this. Again, you do need to fix the formatting. It should look like this. But this is what I would want. So this I think is your best one. I think you should keep it. Move the other stuff away. And then we need to find a way to put bullet points like this in that aren't just at this, because this is a bit of a red flag. So I feel like you're going to go far. In fact, you may already have like 3 internships lined up. I'm just trying to give you the best chance. So in summary, because this is very long, because I wanted to make sure I get this all right, because there's more stuff here in an intern for a first-year intern than I have seen in people with 5-year software developers for like Fortune 500 companies. This is great, but again, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. This could probably be deleted. This should definitely be deleted. Then I would pick one of these, which in this case, I really think it should be this. I think this is pretty solid and it gives a lot of stuff. And then we need to know how you worked well with others and took direction and criticism. And then at the bottom, we can have like an awards thing where it shows how good you are. But most people are not going to get past here. And founder is going to raise some flags. And then if they go here and see what they want, it's going to be a bit more of an issue. So fix the formatting, shrink it down. Again, it's not that the page length matters, because it's not really that. It's just that there's so much stuff here that they may not find what they're looking for. And a lot of it is redundant, right? Like these all show the same things. These are the same bullet point. They might as well be. So they don't really tell us anything new. So that's all I can do for this one, and that's all for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Like I said, helps me out, seriously. If you need more help, you can always go to my Twitch chat. The link is below, along with where you can submit your resume, and I look forward to helping you all get ahead of your job search.